tournament.
There's got to be more on there we have not seen.
Oh, I know. There's gotta be. What if we go to search, Mom?
What are you going to search for, though?
Christmas movies.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's racing show is sponsored by Riverview, RiverviewFamily.com auto sales. Go hit them up for all your auto sales needs. Tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube, we have with us race car driver Nate McMillan. Welcome to the show, Nate.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How did your racing career get started, Nate?
I got started at 4.5. Got into quarter midgets, ran those for 8 years. After that, I got into micros, 600 mini sprints. We ran those for another 8 years. Then after that, I got into sprint cars, ran those for another 8. I retired from the sprint car racing and got back into go-karts now. So, been a lot of racing, 29 years.
Wow. How much success have you had as a race car driver?
Excuse me?
How much success have you had as a race car driver?
You know, we've had a lot of success coming back from the quarter midgets. We won a bunch of championships in it. Sprint cars, we did really good. We finished top 3 at Lincoln Park Speedway in points a couple of years. The biggest probably accomplishment was finishing top 5 at the Tulsa Shootout. So we had a lot of good runs there.
Okay. So, Nate, what was it like for you to race for the first time, if you can remember back that far?
When I was 4.5 racing for the first time, it was crazy. Dad built a track out in the front yard with flour and put a lead rope on the quarter midget, and we ran laps around the front yard for hours. And then we went to the racetrack and started racing.
Were you the least bit scared at all when you first got behind the wheel?
No, not really. You know, when I first started and Dad got me in, he got me belted in, stuff like that. He took the car and flipped it over right in the yard. He said, well, he flipped it back over and he said, well, did it scare you? I said, nope. I said, I'm ready. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. So, Nate, all right. What does an awesome day at the racetrack look like for you?
Awesome day at the racetrack, getting there early, hanging out with friends. You know, wife always cooks something to take to the track, so we'll sit there. Everybody will eat together and just hopefully qualifying good and running good all night. But being around all of our friends at the track is probably what makes it the best.
Okay. So, Nate, all right. What's an awesome day at the race shop look like for you?
The race shop looks like for me, man, just having people over here, working on them. It's awesome. The wife is always out in the shop helping. So just having her out here with me, trying to learn, and that's always a good night in the shop.
What is your home racetrack?
My home racetrack in the sprint cars was Terre Haute or Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville. The go karts, I kind of travel around, so I don't really have a really track there.
What is your most favorite racetrack you ever raced on?
I would have to say it'd be Eldora. We went to Eldora a couple years ago in the sprint car and had a blast.
What is the story behind your racing number? Where did that come from?
Growing up, I was a huge Gordon fan. So when I first started racing, I was 24, diehard Gordon fan. And then a couple years ago, I kind of switched to 3. You know, Dale drove like it was his last race every time, and that's how I go out and run. Is you just never know if you're going to make it home that night or
not. Okay. Who do you have for sponsors on your racing team?
I got a bunch. I got A1 Machine Shop, Dennis Trucking and Excavating, Springfield Pepsi Cola, Centerpoint Forge and Farrier Service, Indiana Farm Bureau, Specialty Graphics, Johnson Horsepower Solutions, B&R Automotive, B&R Off-Road, U.S. Lawns, C&H Machine and Diesel, and Smith Small Engines.
Are you still looking for sponsors for your racing team?
Absolutely. You know, not any amount will help. It's hard keeping the team going, and with fuel and tires and just keeping everything up on the car that we need to be able to win.
Who was Ryan?
How does one get a hold of you to sponsor you?
They can find me on Facebook, Nate McMillan, or McMillan Motorsports on Facebook, or I can give my number out if they ever get a hold of me. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to sponsor Nate or get to know him better, reach out to his social media platforms on Facebook to get to know him better or sponsor him, and then he'll give you his number. You can reach out to him that way. So who's your racing hero, Nate?
my racing hero would have to be Gordon.
All right.
Yep, it would have to be Jeff.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Jeff Gordon?
I did not. No.
If given the opportunity, what would you say to Jeff Gordon?
I would probably thank him for kind of leading the way on how I became racing. I would thank him because he was probably the most respectful, I would say, growing up with what he had. He had to work for everything. So, that's kind of how we are here. So we have to work for everything we do racing.
Are you pretty good at reading the racetrack?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that, and I always have Dad or another crew member kind of going up, checking to make sure we know kind of where it's going and what we need to do to change everything.
With your go-kart, are you racing on dirt now?
Yes, yeah, we run full dirt schedules. So,
Okay, do you like a wet, heavy track, a dry, dusty track, or right in the center?
Go-karts, we like it kind of rubbered up. That's where the racing happens the most. It's kind of right in the rubber.
All right. Do you have any big racing events you're looking forward to racing coming up?
I think we might go to the O'Reilly Nationals next year, and that's in Batesville, Mississippi. I think there was 400 carts that entered, and then don't really know where else we might go next year. So it's kind of waiting to see what the schedules look like.
Who's on your racing crew?
I got my wife, Troy Johnson, Marty Beasley, Steve Mershon. My parents, they help out a lot.
All right. What are your future goals with your racing career?
That future goals, I think, are just to keep running every year and doing the best we can. We've got 2 championships in the go-karts. We're just going to try and keep on bringing what we've done the last 2 years.
What is the best piece of advice you've gotten as a race car driver?
I would say never give up. Racing is one tough sport, and you'll have your ups and downs, but eventually your ups will prevail.
What was the advice you'd give a new race car driver?
I'd probably have to be that same advice.
When you're strapped in your race car, getting ready to go on the racetrack, what helps get you psyched up and motivated to go out and do this?
I think when I get ready, wife always gives me a kiss before we go out, and that helps me get my mindset and make sure I can go out there and do the best I can. Got guys always coming up, fist bumping, saying good luck, and we race with a lot of them. So we'll always fist bump each other and just make sure we can go out there and do the best we can.
Who are some of your friends at the racetrack?
Stephen Mershon, Marty Beasley, Evan Pemberton, Cole Kirkman, Steve Mershon. Those are the guys we hang out with almost quite often.
Do you have a racing nickname?
I do. It is Hot Rod.
Okay. What do you like to do for fun outside the racetrack?
The wife and I love to go camp. So we take the dogs and go camping. It kind of helps us get away and relax for a weekend.
Okay. What types of racing do you like to watch on TV?
A lot of pretty much anything dirt is what I watch on TV. If it's 4x4 stadium trucks or if it's outlaws or anything dirt, I'll watch.
What is your favorite thing about being a race car driver?
My favorite thing, I think, is trying to put on the best show I can for the fans. I think that's the fans are really what make the dirt racing the best.
Do you have any crazy racing stories you'd like to share with us?
I think really the only crazy one was 3 years ago at Putnamville. I got upside down and broke my back actually. So we took the rest of the year off and kind of let me get healed up. And then the next following year we went back sprint car racing. So that's probably one of the crazy.
How did that wreck happen?
We were qualifying. The car kind of got on the right rear hard. You know, we've had trouble with that car all year getting hooked up, and we finally got it hooked up. So I was just trying to drive it harder and harder, and got hooked up on the right rear. The right front dug in, and it just started flipping. Landed hard once on the top of the cage. I think that's where it got my back.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yep.
Out of your racing career, what has to be your most favorite victory?
My favorite victory probably was in quarter midgets. We had the Region 5. It was a point series where it ran around Illinois and Indiana, and went to the last race, and we were like 2 points in the lead. So if I had to win the race and the other kid had to finish, I think second or something like that, but it was the last lap and I was running second, and I made the last lap pass going into 3 to win the championship. So that was probably the most memorable race there.
Hey, at this portion of the racing show, Nate, I'd like to turn the mic over to my guest. If you have a couple questions you'd like to ask me, you can ask me a couple questions.
I don't know. How long have you been doing the podcast?
2018.
2018. I can't think of any. I just appreciate you having me on here. Hopefully we can do this again.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So Nate, is there anybody else you'd like to thank you for helping you get this far with your racing career?
Yeah, you know, I want to thank my parents, my family. They put a lot of hard work into getting me to where I was at and where I am now. If it wasn't for them, you know, we would have never made it this far.
Okay. So Nate, I would like to thank you for being on a racing show tonight, talking to us about your racing career, getting to know you a little bit better. I will have you step out and I will give you a call a little bit to thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nate McMillan on our racing show tonight, talking to us about his racing career. Go hit up his social media pages on Facebook to get to know him better or sponsor him. Or if you'd like to sponsor our racing show or be on our racing show, feel free to call us or text us at 712-209-7138, or you can email us at jjnolan151@gmail.com.